And what it comes down to is sin nature. And of course, the enemy fanning the flames in people's lives. And we see that every day, and it's sad. And it's especially sad when it's your son or your daughter, your niece, your neighbor, your best friend. You ever feel helpless and hopeless when you watch people destroy themselves in the pattern over time, and you're scratching your head and you're wondering, you're praying your guts out, God help them? Well, what we're going to learn in the long run is going to help us all. Criminal thinking and behavior doesn't consider the consequences that criminal behavior will produce. Core beliefs and thinking errors become so ingrained and strong, criminals don't really care about the consequences. They become blind to them. And if they can see them, who cares? The drug is so powerful and so addictive, and it feels so good. I'm going to do it. Who cares about the consequences? And for 25, 30 years, I've watched people do crimes, especially drugs and the crimes, go to prison, come out, make it for a while, go to prison, come out, make it for a while, go to prison, come out, and make it for a while. They're not considering the consequences. And a lot of it has to do with, comes back to the basics, core belief principles drive thinking, and thinking drives behavior. Career criminals can rationalize and justify their criminal behavior and then minimize the threat of consequences in a blink of an eye. These negative patterns also produce the canny ability to lie and deceive others, to always get their way. Why? Because it's all about them. It's self-centeredness. Deception to the max. And again, you get Satan crowding into that territory, it's catastrophic. And the thing that the system in the world doesn't realize is how Satan's power is behind that and what Satan's power can do. And what's the only agency on earth that can really make a difference in that area? Jesus Christ. And who's he supposed to work through to bring deliverance and healing? Us. That's why there's such a failure system, a repeat cycle, and a criminal justice in our communities today. And if the body of Christ doesn't come into revival and listen to God, the ship's going to sink. It's about 3/4 of the way right now. But I want to get to preaching here. I don't want to do that. Crime is a crime whether we get caught or not. That's big. It doesn't become a crime just because somebody gets caught. Crime is a crime whether you get caught or not. Criminal behavior begins early on by breaking little rules. We can be trained as Christians to better recognize why young ones are behaving bad and behavior is growing worse. We need to recognize that deviant patterns that are developing right in front of our eyes, and we need to, as Christians, learn how to more deal with the thinking errors and the self-centered core beliefs that are going on behind the scenes of behavior, negative behavior. And a lot of young ones, just like me, when I grew up, when I started breaking the rules and kept going and kept multiplying, and I didn't get the intervention that I needed or the proper correction or role modeling, the more I got away with it, the easier it became. And in my own life, the end product for me, passing by all those consequences and not caring, and there was a lot of drug addiction in my background, was the intervention that got me on my knees and heading the right direction. Was one night after drinking and drugging all day, left the bar with a friend. I was a passenger in the car, and we're headed around Fernand Lake. And it was awesome. Somebody spoke to me just before we were going to go around the lake and said, "Stop, your life is in danger." As clear as a bell. And I couldn't see that person speaking to me, but I know who it was. It was awesome. And I was thinking about that, going, I know I wasn't hearing things. The drugs weren't working here. It was real. And as I kept thinking about what should I do about that, we drove on, and the next thing I knew, I was upside down in that car, underwater. The tie rod broke. I came completely sober and sound of mind just like that. Spun in my seat, got out, went around, pulled my buddy out, and we walked down the road. Intervention. But look how long it took and what the consequences really could have been if it wasn't for God. A week later, they found 4 young people in a car that went in around the same time we did that didn't make it, with beer cans in the car, and they died.